It's the 21st century, and the entire planet is divided into nations. Well, almost the entire planet. Believe it or not, there are still regions of the world that have yet to be claimed by any nation. The first of these regions is known as Bir Tawil, a tiny area of land between Egypt and Sudan. The second of these regions is known as Byrd land, an area of land that makes up 11% of Antarctica's total area. In order to understand how these regions remain unclaimed, we need to look at their history. It's the year 1899, and Egypt and Sudan are united as Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, a condominium of the United Kingdom and Egypt. As part of the British Empire, it was the British who would decide the border between Sudan and Egypt. As a result, the Anglo-Egyptian Condominium Agreement was created, placing the border along the 22nd parallel. However, placing a border along something as arbitrary as a line on a map has its problems. The main issue was between the tribes surrounding the border, as many used land on either side. For example, Bir Tawil was being used as grazing land by the Ababda tribe, based in Aswan, Egypt. On the other hand, the Hala'ib triangle was inhabited by Sudanese people. As a result, a new administrative border was created in 1902, giving Bir Tawil to Egypt and the Hala'ib triangle to Sudan. So, problem solved, right? Not so much. Our issue arises 54 years later, when Sudan gained independence from the British. The newly formed government of Sudan followed the national borders defined by the 1902 administrative boundary, as the Hala'ib triangle has more value than Bir Tawil. Egypt did not take this lightly. The Egyptian government argued that the border created in 1902 was a mere temporary fix rather than a permanent solution, and the 1899 border along the 22nd parallel was the true border, leading Egypt to believe it controlled the Hala'ib triangle. And that's where we are today. Bir Tawil remains no man's land, and the Hala'ib triangle is coveted by two nations. Antarctica was humanity's last resort for imperialism, so it was quickly claimed by world powers. The first of these was made by Argentina and Chile, who believed the Spanish Empire, which they had previously been a part of, held legitimate claims on Antarctic land. According to the nations, a grant that had previously been issued entitled them to land south of the Strait of Magellan. The nations believe their claims are legitimate to this day. The second nation to claim Antarctic land was the United Kingdom. This claim was made in 1908, when the British government extended its territorial claim of the Falkland Islands to include South Georgia, the South Orkneys, the South Shetlands, the Sandwich Islands, and Graham Land, a portion of the Antarctic Peninsula. The claim was once again modified in 1917 to include all the territory south of the 50th parallel of south latitude and lying between the 20th and 80th degrees west longitude, encompassing the entire British Antarctic territory. While sections of this territory would later be transferred to British territories, namely Australia and New Zealand, the UK backs its claims to this day. The French claimed Antarctic land in 1924, on the basis of coastline discovery by a French explorer. This claim is the smallest any nation has made on Antarctica. Norwegian whaling interests, wishing to avoid British taxation, would first claim territory in the Southern Ocean in 1929. And would later expand this to include continental territory. In addition to these claims, there is one claim that no longer exists, made by Nazi Germany in 1939. However, looking at these claims still doesn't explain Byrd land's status. The region has simply yet to be claimed by any legitimate power. This makes it the largest area on the planet not part of any nation. So those are the only remaining unclaimed regions of the world. And who knows, maybe a new nation will rise in these areas sometime in the future. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more geography and history related videos, a subscription, like, and/or comment would be greatly appreciated. This is Morothy. Thanks for watching.